All right, the Guru. Good afternoon, sir. Yes, you are the leader of Western Zone B, Dr. F.N. Okpara, and today is very special in the life of BIM Muscle. What are we celebrating today, sir?
Actually, we are celebrating the 19th year. A great struggle, a great triumph, and a great strike, and the giant one indeed, that brought about the turning around in the continent of Africa. That is what we are celebrating today. And by the grace of God, we are now on the verge of the proper actualization of a sovereign nation. That is why all over the world this is being celebrated. Not only in Lagos or in Zombi, it's all over the Federation, both local and international.
All right, here is Temple of Peace, the Secretariat of BIM Muscle. We understand that the struggle began in this very place in 1999. Now, sir, you have written so many books about our leader. You've written a lot of books. The recent one you wrote, The Science of Uwazukeism. Can you tell us more about the person of Chief Dr. Ralph Uwazuke?
Rightly, Chief Dr. Ralph Uwazuke is a motivator and is a leader to the core. He's a man God has ordained to bring Biafra to the limelight. And he's a man that has an ideological focus. He's not a man that is withering and perambulating because of the cause of time. And he came for a purpose and he will go for it. And that is why we are following him, and he has been able to actualize his mission. What he has worked on today cannot be achieved by many, but out of nothing he was able to change the course of an Igbo nation and intended Africa at large.
In one of your writings, you said that Chief has summoned the insurmountable.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that, sir?
Automatically, now when you go to the archives of history, now we are not talking at the level of basic of interregional of the Nigerian situation, because Nigeria is a baseless nation that does not have football, and it's a federation. So when we talk about an insurmountable instrumentation, considering the fact from our background and where Nigeria has placed up from 1960 to date, you can understand that the type of nuclear reactor that has been built against Igbo, this region, that is unquantifiable anywhere in the world. But by the grace of God, a man came with a system that's so common in Africa and changed that order. You know, Uwazuke has not only changed the order, but he changed the anti-clockwise of operation. And he changed the level of our military to meritocracy. He has changed the level of productivity to what? Triumphantly. Today we have triumph. So it's not only a man that, you know, that is insurmountable, but he has been able to do what no Igbo man, even an African, can do, because none of the Africa has practically not valid to its logical conclusion that one man in Africa.
Thank you, sir. Recently, in June 21st, he declared himself as the head of state of the new Biafra. Until date, no reaction from any corner. What do you have to say about that, sir?
In consonant of history, it is quite well done, because if he has not, or he had not made any significant impact locally and internationally, he wouldn't have made that, as I said that. But because he had nailed Nigeria to the cross of no return, in other words, he had placed Nigeria into a Rubicon of hopelessness, Rubicon of sorrow and pain, Rubicon of defeat. He was the man that turned the table of defeat to the table of victory. That was why he was able to make that statement on June 24, that I am the president of Biafra, and Nigeria couldn't say a word. Even any other human being cannot even challenge that all, because there's an anatomy that have been given to a man that could be able to say that. So that was the reason. If something is not behind him, he cannot make a statement. After all, he is a student of the United Nations, and a man of the United Nations, and a man who studied non-violent war, who United Nations is the secretary to it. Therefore, what he said is quite on course. Thank you.
All right, sir. What type of person can you describe Uwazuke to be?
Oh, I have said it earlier that Uwazuke is God sent. And I have said that he's a man that has an ideological focus. He has an ideological focus. is a man that says a word and maintains it. He never meandered in his word. He's not preambulating like any other leader. But he's the man God has ordained for a cause like that. Otherwise, no evil man of any magnitude can do what he has done. Today we are liberated. We cannot be happy. We cannot be happy, and everybody happy today because history has been insurmounted. What people thought is impossible has been insurmounted by one common system.
Sir, you do not believe in the political class. In one of your writings, can you expatiate more?
The issue is very simple and clear. Number one, if we had hoped upon our political class or the one they call political elite, the Igbo nation would have gone into oblivion. If we had believed in the Kweme, what do you call them? All the rich men of Igbo land, we would have gone into abysmality. If we would have believed on those who claim they have made it from Spain to Scotland, the Igbo nation will go into Rubicon. But in my writing, I said I don't believe them because they cannot even offer. There's no Igbo man today who claim the rich man that could even give common pure water to a village, or what they call a borehole water to a village. No one can do it. They can't do it. And they come to be big man. Political elite that has no good road to his village. Political elite that collects bribe to stay in his own village to the north. That's the political elite political elite that can only boast in Lagos and Abuja but has nothing to offer at home. Look at our cities, look at our markets, look at our roads, look at our schools in the villages. Has nothing to write home about. And they come to political elite. On what basis? On what fundamental basis are you talking about elite? We don't have elite. What we have that elite that are pseudo-intellectuals. Pseudo-intellectuals. In other words, false intellectuals. That's what we have, and whatever you may call them. So they are pseudo.
Alright, sir. Non-violence has given us Biafra.
That's exactly the issue.
Explain more about that, sir.
You see, I think the best began in India in 1847, and eventually it has been trained and cropped in Africa. And today, Africa has become one of the beneficiaries of what Mahatma Gandhi started in 1847. Therefore, non-violence is the best method of war in the modern agitation of today. If you go in the United Nations Charter, today, non-violence has been recognized and signed, especially in 2007, when they signed Indigenous People's Rights. So, non-violence is a weapon that the United Nations welcome. Now, you can say with your enemy, eat your enemy, at the same time, you are playing the game of a renegade. You want to renegade yourself. You want to pull yourself out. So, non-violence doesn't allow you to go to war, but at the same time, you're fighting a war. It's a moment of war. So, every nation today that wants to go ask for a liberation of nation must go under non-violence. That is the best way. If we are going through violence, it wouldn't have reached where we are at today. Was it going to have succeeded if we are going through violence?
Alright, sir. Our people are afraid of their investment across board. What message or counsel do you have for them, sir?
You see, it is the irony of history. For a man to start from develop from Spain to Scotland and he careless about his own area. It is an irony of history that a man prefer to become better in London, Czechoslovakia, while his own state, his own place, as well as desert. It's an irony of history for an Igbo man to have developed all the local crannies of Nigeria, yet we don't have the good access to the east. It's an irony. So, whether they are caring about the investment or not, that is not what matters. That's not what matters. But what matters is that the liberation of a people, Biafran people, the most interpreted tribe in Africa, that have been subjugated, and somebody came up to liberate. That was matter. Now, in Egyptian archaeology, for instance, Egypt, Israel, developed most of their part in Egypt. Even in Babylon, Israel played to develop Babylon. They have enough. That was why when they were asked by God to leave Egypt, they refused to go. They said we prefer to go and die in Egypt. That's the same thing that happened to Igbo today. They prefer to die because of the investment, because they have nothing at home. And that has made them to come to relegated to nothing. Before the people who are omnipotent, they are omnipotent. Nigeria is omnipotent. But people are talking about property. Do you want to compare property with the entire value of your people? Can you do that? Can a wise man compare property with your internal value? They're talking about building. I've said it sometimes back, that the property they are afraid of being afraid of does not matter because the oil pump in the eastern region in 1 month covers all what people have developed from Spain to Scotland. Do you hear me clear? If you are afraid of you have built estate, build mansions, established markets, the oil pumped in the eastern region, which we are not under control, has covered all you have built 100 years, transferred to Scotland. Then why can't you talk about freedom? So you don't need to be afraid of your buildings. What is paramount is that you must be emancipated. Your country must be emancipated. When you are emancipated, you can talk about your buildings. President, thank you very much.
Finally, sir, I want to ask you a very simple question.
Okay, sir.
What message do you have for all the Biafran liberators?
Now, you see, when you talk about the Biafran liberators, it could be on quote. Because I don't know what I'm talking about.
The BIM Masop member,
okay,
precisely.
Right, because I don't know what I'm talking about the IPOB.
No, the BIM Masop member, precisely.
Yeah, the message I have that is that they have done well. They have done the impossible. They have translated from darkness to light. They have done an impossible in the continent of Africa. They have changed the history of an Igbo man today.